Built for the Game, where we talk about systems for winning in business and life for the long haul so you can thrive in any situation. And I'm your coach, Rob Cressy. And joining me today is Hanna Bier, a money mentor. Hanna, super excited to have you on the show.
I'm so honored to be here.
Hanna, I am so looking forward to talking to you about today's topic, the energy of money. We're going to be blending your world and my world together. So let's start with this. When I say the energy of money, what first comes up to you?
Yeah, it's really hugely misunderstood because on the surface, we think that we know money. We know that money is a means of exchange. Money is like a placeholder for value. And on planet Earth, we use it to exchange goods and services. And in a way, it's also a means of appreciation for each other's work. But more deep, at one level deeper than that, it really is an expression of love. Money is how we meet our needs. Money is how we love ourselves and others. Money is how we create a beautiful home. Money is how we bring new fun and enriching experiences into our lives. Money is how we care for our children. Money is how we buy food that nourishes our bodies. And so often clients come to me and they'll say, I'm on this crazy emotional roller coaster ride with money, and I know it's just money. And so many of us have a really complicated relationship with it because it really goes all the way to the roots of who we are. It goes to our deepest needs. And on this planet, money is a big factor in meeting our own needs and really feeling that we're well taken care of and whole.
I love the way that you frame this around love. So let's talk about the vibrational frequencies of money, because when you can create this energy inside of you, especially as it relates to your relationship with money, where it is coursing with love and not scarcity, you can start to attract more money into your life, where you live a life of abundance and harmony. And so often, this is something that may sound good on the surface, but I don't believe that everybody believes this or lives this. So can you dive a level deeper into the vibrational frequencies of this so that we can start to attract more of this in our life?
Absolutely. So what we're currently doing for most of us isn't working, right? Like there are statistics that say that 92% of Americans would say that money is their main source of stress. So the way we currently do money clearly isn't working, where we're in the striving and in the wanting more, in the feeling like it's never enough, in the feeling like it's tied to our own self-worth. And so clearly that path really isn't working. The path that most of us know really does work is to embody the positive feelings that an abundance of money would bring. So we need to feel abundant and peaceful and happy and creative first. And so this is the tricky bit. Most of us actually know the solution, but most of us really struggle to implement it. And I get it. Like it is really difficult when you look around your life and you see your life circumstances and it's not what you want. It's really tricky then for you to embody these higher vibrational feelings that will go and create more money for you. But that is actually the only way to really create an abundance of money. So in a nutshell, we need to begin to kind of ignore the parts of our lives that we don't like and begin to embody the feelings of what we want instead so that can begin to manifest. But that is like enlightenment level energetic aerobics, or gymnastics that we're trying to do. And that's why we need tools to help us get to this embodied state of abundance that creates more and more and more and more.
All right, Hanna, so I'm on board with everything that you're saying, and I'm about this life. But I think for a lot of people, there's the air quotes, the woo-woo nature of this versus the action nature of this. Because oftentimes, and I come from both a sales and an entrepreneurship background, that if you're living in lack or scarcity of anything, scarcity of clients, scarcity of money, we are trained to take more action, that the thing that is stopping us from creating the results in our life is more action, different action. Am I doing this right? Because I know certainly in my own journey, sometimes I would sit there and think about, am I just 1 degree off from doing the right action as opposed to as I matured in my inner work journey, where I learned more about creating an identity that serves me and is powerful, and where my state of being is primary, and who I am and how I show up every single day is more important than anything else, because the story you tell yourself creates your actions create your results. So in actuality, you are correct that let's design a story that has us vibrating at a higher frequency, because that will then have you taking the actions that create those results. But for a lot of people, I don't think they can exactly, especially if you're new to this, just jump from one to the other, knowing that we're so hardwired for action.
Absolutely. But we also need to see it kind of from the other perspective, from the perspective who's the buyer. People who buy your energy. And it doesn't matter if you're selling knives or if you're selling real estate, like really, like we're all selling something. And at its core, people buy the energy that we embody, and they want to have a really fun buying process. They want it to enrich their lives. And so when we're in an energy of scarcity and stress and wanting to make it happen and wanting to be somebody and finally be a success, and so really need to close this client, like people don't buy the energy of desperation. So we could be doing all the right things. We could be having the best strategy. We could be saying the exact right things. We could be having like an airtight process. And at the end, it could be just that the energy just is not what they want to buy. Like they don't want to bring that desperation into their lives. And so somebody else might actually close them, and that person doesn't have a perfect sales process, or they might stumble over the words, or something might be really imperfect about it, but they might have a sense of like joy and relaxedness about them, where it's really enjoyable for the buyer to be a yes to them, where it's a lot of fun. And so it's not just like from our perspective that we begin to manifest more, it's also that people have a much easier time to say yes to whatever it is that we're inviting them to.
All right, I'm on board with that. Now let's go to the next level and call this energy auditing techniques. So you sit there and you say, all right, Rob and Hannah, I am part of Team Good Vibes. We know the difference between someone who has a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, someone who is or isn't self-aware, someone who puts out positive energy every single day. And in the world of entrepreneurship, there's a lot of people who are all in on their dreams, and they take the massive action, and their energy is good, and they're still not seeing the results. And I get it. And it could be challenging to say, all right, I'm going to self-audit my own energy. And one of the levels of personal growth is your ability to be your own coach and how you can cultivate that for yourself. But if we're going to take a few steps back, what can we do to audit our energy, even if we believe we are part of Team Good Vibes and putting something positive out there? And oh, by the way, we know that what we do works, because you have clients that are doing it and seeing the results, but maybe just not at the level of air quotes success that you would like.
Yeah, I love that you're saying self-auditing. I think that's such a cool concept. I know that for me personally, when I'm in a place where it feels like I'm doing everything right, why the hell is my process glitching? I do go and, speak to my coach, and she looks at me and she will be uncomfortably honest with me, because it's almost like if I'm really stuck, it feels like I'm giving myself my own haircut, So sometimes I just need to go to an expert and have them look at my hair and tell me why it looks absolutely terrible and like a bird's nest. And so for someone who's been doing all the right things and who's been on the like high vibe train and it's still not working, like definitely see if you can find somebody who can read your energy, who can tell you what the block is, clear it. And then the other thing that I love to do, because your question was about self auditing, is I love to connect to a light source. So I just picture my attention going all the way up until I connect to a really powerful source of light. I allow it to flow through myself. And then I just kind of see like, where is the fear? Where is the belief? Where is the attitude that won't allow me to receive this thing that I really, really, really want? And then for me, it pops in. But sometimes the things are so sticky that I also really need to work with like a coach or an energy healer or somebody who can help me release this.
I love it. And you naturally segued to the flow of money. And one of the declarations that I speak out loud every single day is, I am in flow. And there's an emoji of the guy surfing the wave. And I say to myself, I am riding the waves of life, because I very much see flow as both ups and downs, because it is inevitable that we are going to have fears, judgments, self-limiting beliefs, obstacles, challenging things that happen to us. But it is our ability to ride those waves and see your constant life in flow. Because one of the things that when I audited my relationship to time, that I realized was actually self-limiting, despite what the rest of the world says, is in the creative world, our ability to, air quotes, create flow, where you get lost in something and you look up a few hours later, you're like, wow, where did the time go? This was so amazing. It's what we all want so often in our lives. And how do you design it that way? And this is where you can create things like Pomodoro techniques, where you set a timer for 30 minutes or an hour and you remove distractions and you just get started. And all of a sudden, all right, now I've got a process for creating that flow. But I realized, why would I not just want to live my entire life in flow and see that as a perspective and a state of being? So for me, I choose to take on the identity that I am always in flow, because my entire life is in flow. So now let's break it apart, one piece of this, and the flow of money. And for us to live in abundance, it is important that we don't see money as stagnant. Because if we're living in lack, or we're stopping it from being created, it can't flow. And this also includes the one, giving money to others, because what you give in life, you are likely to receive. So if you're challenged by money right now, one of the best things that you can actually do is go and give some money to some other people. But I'm curious, from your perspective, ways that we can create that flow of money in ourselves.
Yeah, I actually really love the metaphor that you just offered with the surfer on the wave, because so often what we're being sold is this idea that money should always be going up, right? Like if you're doing life right and if you're being a success, you should always be making increasing amounts of money. If you're making six figures, you better make multi six figures. If you're at seven, you need to go to eight. It needs to be more and more and more and more and more. And for many of us, this feels really stressful. And then when life doesn't go that way, we often beat ourselves up and we think, my affirmations aren't working and my mindset work isn't working. And, we get really down on ourselves. But the truth is, money is a natural resource. Just like everything else in life, it flows. And that is not on you. Just like water flows, time flows, just like the seasons change, money has ups and downs as well. And it often has nothing to do with, we could be doing everything right and still money just flows. Sometimes you'll spend more, sometimes you'll earn more, sometimes your profit will be bigger, sometimes your profit will be smaller. When you're in the abundance consciousness over time, yes, your finances will dramatically expand and you'll always have lots of money and a really strong flow of money. But even within that, you'll notice ups and downs. And so it's really important to source our safety from within so we can just stay really calm and know that life knows what it's doing when money inevitably just kind of flows. And so many of us have like the numbers of money tied into our self-worth, and we're all being taught to not feel good enough. And so very often we then feel, like we kind of get really harsh with ourselves and we make it about ourselves when, that's just the way it goes. And we need to kind of separate our own self-worth from the amount of money that we have and that we're earning and that we want to earn. And then that inevitably will allow more money to come in and stay, if that makes sense.
It does. And let's take this to the next level. And one of the things that has very much served me, both in my relationship to money, as well as the way that I holistically see my entire life, oftentimes this is easier said than done, but it is the concept of letting go. Where when I think of flow, man, you're in this rhythm. It's almost like the ribbon of life, and you let go and you just go with the waves, the back and the forth of it. And with that creates a freedom, or one of my words of the year is harmony, that you can create in your life. And I'm curious your perspective on this, because the practice of letting go, while something that we all have access to, that happens in a minute. So anybody listening or watching right now, they can let go right this second if you want, but it's easier said than done when you're staring at the monsters in your bank account, or at least the ones that you've seen. You've seen your clients come and go, or your bills pile up, or you see your credit card balances or the debt that you have in all of this. And letting go is challenging because of ... There's so many reasons why we can't let go, but that doesn't mean our ability to let go isn't accessible to us. And it also doesn't mean that that level of freedom isn't the thing that would serve us, because when you do, and I know this from my own experience in a variety of capacities, it feels like letting an anvil off your chest, because there's oftentimes an anxiety or a weight that you feel in your chest. It's like this financial pressure on yourself where you're trying so hard and you're doing things the right way, and you care about yourself or your family so much that you almost wear it as a badge of honor because you care so much. And letting go can be framed as the absence of caring, but there's also a way to do that in a way that serves you.
Absolutely. One of the things that really, really helps me, it's almost like a little mantra that I'm living. It's such a simple phrase, and it's life knows what it's doing. At some point, I've just decided that life knows what it's doing. Everything that I think I know and everything that I think should be happening, those thoughts have let me down a gazillion times in my life, where I really wanted something and life just slammed a door in my face. And later on, I found out there was nothing behind that door anyway. And that redirection was actually protection. Like, it was grace. It was absolutely perfect for me. So often my mind has like a plan and thinks that certain things should be happening, and I should be having more money, and I should be having more clients, and I should be this and that, and so forth. But I've really discovered that life really does know what it's doing, and it knows much better than I do. And the infinite possibility that is the future, we're like constantly staring into this space of infinite possibility that can be so daunting and so scary. We're like, oh my God, what's going to happen in the future? Are we going to be okay? Am I going to make it? And so I've also decided that everything good that I've ever received always came from the place of unlimited possibility. So I can actually trust that more. I can trust that life knows what it's doing, and I can trust that the unknown always brings good things my way. Always, always, always. And I can trust that my thoughts usually let me down. And so it really sunk in at this point. It started out as just a thought, as just amusing, but it has sunk in so deeply now that I'm really now feeling that my sense of safety comes from within. And I'm not constantly trying to tell life how to do its job. Of course, like, I set goals and I work towards them, but I often get redirected, and it is always for the better.
I love this because we are just naturally segueing, because Hanna, what I want to talk about now is going to be sort of one and the same. And we're going to call this consistency practices, but also we're going to dive deeper into identity, because for me and the work that I do with so many of my clients, it all starts with your identity and the story that you tell yourself. And this is something that I don't hear the world talking about at the level that it should be, if I'm going to use the word should, because of how important it is. Because for me, The story I tell myself is the most important thing in the world because the world by design is going to tell you the stories that they want. On top of those stories are then going to permeate themselves into you to where now you've got fear, judgment, self-limiting beliefs. So the way that you can go from not trusting your thoughts is by designing your thoughts. And the way you design your thoughts is by creating a consistency practice. It's why for me, my morning routine and my boot sequence is paramount to who I am in my success and my ability to create myself as the best version of myself. Because I know these thoughts are going to happen, the negative ones, the self-limiting ones. Clients are going to come and go. People around us are going to get sick, or there's going to be challenging times. Like we woke up one day and COVID's here. And there's just so many things that happen in life. Therefore, you say, what can I control in a world where there's a lot of things trying to control you? And for me, it's about, all right, designing the most powerful version of myself. What does that look like? Creating that identity for myself. Just like I said with I am in flow. And we do have the ability to do this in all of the buckets of our life, as well as in our money bucket. And I have a story that I can share around this because I was challenged and struggled for the longest time in my entrepreneurial journey with having a scarcity mindset around finances and money and living in lack. Because in my old life 13 plus years ago, I was crushing it, printing money, making tons of money, working my 9-to-5, doing digital advertising sales. Well, then I quit that to become a full-time entrepreneur and creator and went down to $0 overnight. And in the process, you're like, whoa, no clients, no relationships, no website. And now the scarcity mindset starts to build in there. And it wasn't all the buckets of my life, just this one, because like you said, we have these expectations of, well, I've crushed my entire life and I'm not crushing right now as I'm building this brand new business. Why is this not happening? And as I would just see my savings slowly going down just month after month, even though I'm all in on my dreams and I'm loving my life and I'm doing the inner work there was still a mindset of scarcity for myself because I had not, air quotes, created the level of entrepreneurial success that I had wanted in my mind yet. So it created this lack for myself. And I had to do or got to do the inner work on myself to excavate this, where number one, I forgave myself for judging myself for having a scarcity mindset because it's not true. I've crushed my entire life. I was landing clients. It just wasn't at the level that I wanted, but that was still attached because it's so emotional. It's so deep where you're all in on this thing. So it feels super hot and it's ever present and it never goes away. And you can feel that anxiety. So I forgive myself for judging myself for having this financial scarcity and living in lack. All right, where I can actually truly see my innocence. Because the truth is, and this is where I stepped into the powerful version of myself as it related to my relationship to money. And this isn't just like a little itty bitty thing. It's like, no, what is the most powerful version of me? And it is, I am a revenue generating juggernaut. And I tried that on for size and I was like, whoa, I love this. And then I sat there and I collected all the evidence of my life, of all of the instances in which I straight crush. And I was like, oh, baby, I've got lots of these. So I started to change the story that I told myself around this, where previously it was, why do I not have enough clients? What am I not doing right? But now the focal point became, look at how you've been successful in pretty much everything that you do. And every single day I would speak, see, and feel into this declaration. I am a revenue generating juggernaut. And as I did this practice more and more, it got deeper entangled into who I am, to where there's levels to this game. And that was just the entry point. But then I got to the point where I created it saying, it is my state of being that creates all of my results. So when I think of myself as a revenue generating juggernaut, I'm so confident in this, it's because I know it is my state of being and energy that creates this. And when you understand on that level that will attract and create everything that you want in your life, now all of a sudden, this has become a cheat code where you're like, whoa, my energy and being has the ability to create everything that I want in my life. And by design, telling myself that story every single day creates the actions in myself that creates the results, which ultimately, Hanna, got you to this podcast because that was an energy that I've created over the last 13 years of my life. And you are just one of the representations of creating that magnetism.
Amazing. I love that perspective. I once heard somebody say, we become who we pretend to be. And that is, your story is the proof of that. It's so true. Have you heard of subliminals, though?
I don't believe so. I mean, I know what something subliminal is, but let's dive deeper into this concept.
So I'm quite lazy and I like to do things as effectively as possible. I also really like to multitask. So subliminals are audio tracks, and there's affirmations in the audio track that are below your conscious level of hearing. So your conscious mind will hear ocean sounds or music, and then your subconscious mind will hear all the affirmations that are hidden in the subliminal. Your subconscious can take in up to 100 million bits of information per second, 100,000 of those through hearing alone. And so we can layer the affirmations. So there's like millions of affirmations per second. We can speed them up. We can do all sorts of things to them so that your subconscious mind will really be saturated with those affirmations. And I have a subliminal maker, and she just completely overdoes it. It probably completely exceeds the ability of the subconscious mind to take them in. But usually when you listen to subliminals on a specific topic, you'll get results within a couple of years. But the subliminals that I like to work with, it takes just a few days for you to get all the benefits of the affirmations in the subliminal. So imagine if you don't actually really have to say affirmations, if you're just listening to like a track of ocean sounds while you're sleeping, while you're cooking, while you're driving. And I like to really customize them for my clients so they're really perfect for them and their goals. And that's really actually all you do. And then you notice yourself changing, you notice yourself manifesting everything that you want. What's amazing about subliminals is that they bypass your conscious mind. So many times, I don't know, I do it all the time where I'm like, I'm going to do my affirmations, or I'm going to do my manifesting tools or my money creating tools and all my mindset work. And then sometimes I have a really funky day and I want to throw in the towel and I'm thinking, this isn't working anyway, when I'm feeling like crap. And so it really helps me to just turn on a subliminal, because no matter how I'm feeling or no matter the thoughts that I'm thinking, it really matters what my subconscious mind is drinking in. So you can be in the worst mood, everything can go wrong in your life, and you're still listening to that subliminal, and you're still getting all of the benefits. It's really, really, really cool. So if any of you listeners are into affirmations, that's something to potentially look into.
Absolutely love that. And you know what I take from that? One, the power of consistency. One of the books I recommend the most is The Power of Consistency by Weldon Long. And one of the things he says, one of the reasons why people don't achieve their dreams is because they just don't spend enough time with them. So as I am talking about speaking my declarations of I am a revenue generating juggernaut, and then here you are with another tool of subliminals and your ability to just get that drip, 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 drip over and over again. And I previously had recorded a podcast around creating a binary mindset, ones or zeros. And think about how often we or people take zeros in specific buckets in their life. And Hanna, you gave the perfect example of this, where you're very committed to a practice. You believe in the power of doing the inner work, your mindset, your affirmations, your declarations, or your morning pages and journaling, or whatever it's going to be. But then life comes and you just don't do it, or you air quotes, I don't feel like it today. And you take a zero in that bucket. And fitness is one place where it's very easy for us to do it, but so is money. But here's something that you're doing where, boom, you just hit play and it's very easy to do. And one of the things that I have done, which has been a game changer for me the last few years, is I speak my goals on camera every single year. And then on a daily basis, when I'm coming back from the gym, it's pretty much a 5-minute drive back from the gym. I just hit that, and my goals spoken on video are about 4 minutes and 21 seconds or something. So during that time, I just speak, and it's like, I'm Rob Cressy. These are my 2023 goals. They are who I am, and I have them now. And then boom, there's just me speaking them. And it's an effortless thing. And when you understand, and I think this is a high performer next level concept, albeit simple, it is every single day with the power of consistency while at the same time having a very long-term mindset. So am I expecting $1 million today because I am listening to my goals or speaking my declarations or doing my subliminals? No. But do I believe in the practice? Yes. Cool. Let's get a 1 and not a 0, because any action is better than no action. And when you start stacking these things up day after day after day, most people, they can do it for a day or two, but then you do it for a week, and then you do it for a month, and then you do it for a year. And then in my instance, you do some of these practices for 13 years, and you look back and they're like, Rob, how in the world do you become a coach? Do this for 13 years and live this, and then you will naturally be at a mastery level, because this is who you are and what you do to create yourself to get to the next levels.
Absolutely. And I love that you're talking about stacking, because I always like to set myself up so that no matter what, I'll reach my goals. Like no matter what. So I'll do my subliminals first. Like, I don't know, like all hell could break loose and I would still be there with my earbuds and listening to the ocean sounds. Like, that's so easy. And then in addition to that, I'll do my energy clearing. And then in addition to that, I'll do the homework from my coach. In addition to that, I'll read a book in addition. And so, like you said, it stacks up. But it's really nice when you've got like a bunch of different tools. So you're always doing something. So you never have a day when you're just kind of floating and kind of beginning to fall off the wagon, because then it's a little harder to get back on. And I used to always feel that I needed to have the 3-hour morning routine and, get up at 5 a.m. And, now I'm realizing that, especially after all this time, sometimes 5 to 10 minutes, like, is actually really a lot. I used to have like this belief that it took a long time or a lot of effort for things to work. And now my beliefs are more, good things happen while I sleep and nap, or everything always comes to me with ease, or, even just a minute of my subliminal completely has me receiving all of the benefits of that subliminal. So I could listen more, but I really don't actually have to, because I'm so susceptible and receptive to all of these tools, and they always work on me the very first try. And so for any of you guys who've got like the 3-hour morning routine and it's beginning to, or like evening routine or any of those things that I used to have, and it's beginning to feel a little long and like a lot of work, see if you can just kind of simplify things and make it more manageable.
So Hanna, I love this conversation because I can feel your belief, your consistency, your practice, the way that you are both a coach and a mentor, as well as on the receiving end of these things as well. And I would love to leave with an action item or a takeaway, something for someone who wants to create this abundance and harmony and mindset of flow as it relates to money.
Yeah, I believe that we have a feeling of truth in our own bodies that always guides us to where we need to go. And sometimes clients come to me and they'll say, well, we're already doing so well, or we just sold a house for a couple million, or I have this high paying job, or I really shouldn't be wanting more or better or different. And on the surface, money seems to be about money, but in reality, it really is about us living our most congruent life, like the right life for ourselves. And what constitutes a lot of money for some people constitutes not much for another, right? Like the numbers are so relative. For some people, earning 20K a month is a lot. For some people, it's really actually not much. And so trust the feeling of truth in your own body. If you're already doing really well and the feeling of truth in your body says start the other business, go make more money, go do this, go do that, just trust it and follow it. You're absolutely allowed to take it one step further. The whole point of life is to have a lot of fun and a lot of love and to enjoy your expansion. And you may not know what's waiting down the road that you're being called to go. Just trust that life knows what it's doing and just keep going and just keep walking and ignore any of the things in your environment that are not wrong or not good enough. Like just keep walking in the direction. It will all be worth it in the end. And every single step that you're taking, it all stacks up. It all adds up. It's all important and you're doing so well.
I love that. And my takeaway is actually what you just said. I'm going to yes and it. It's all around a lot of fun and a lot of love. And for me, that is designing that into who you are, starting at the beginning of your day and creating your identity and your state of being and the story that you tell yourself, where you create a lens where you see the world and you're just coursing with love. And it is so much fun. Because when you get to this level, it actually becomes effortless because it is who you are. And when it is who you are, this is where the energy of money starts flowing and is abundant for you. So Hanna, where can everybody connect with you?
Yeah, my website is hannabier.com. That's HANNABIER.com. And you can also find me on Instagram. My handle is Hanna Money Bliss.
And as always, I would love to hear from you about this episode. There is so much goodness around creating consistency practices and the energy of money and the frequency of abundance. Did anything that we say resonate with you or cause you to take action? You can hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn at Rob Cressy.